DIY.
Okay, DIYers, I saw a fascinating take, a hot take, an unpopular opinion courtesy of the Rap Roundtable. I heard this and I had to really sit and think about it for a second. Well, one of the hosts on this podcast said, unpopular opinion, 90s rap has set an impossible standard that rap fans will never allow any other era to miss.
I got my unpopular opinion. I think as time continues to go along, and it's a constant thing, more and more I'm starting to believe that 90s rap was actually the worst thing to happen to hip-hop.
Yeah, I got the same reaction when I first heard this. The worst thing. The last 15 years wants you to hold its beer. The worst thing? Sheesh, continue.
Gotta break this down.
Now that,
and I say that.
It's been a good run, y'all.
Hear me out.
drop the mic. He's out of here.
The Rap Roundtable.
There was no way.
No 121 happening.
Let them cook, though. Look at y'all. Y'all already talking about some, nah, hell no, that ain't it. No, hell no, hell no, hell no. Let them cook. He done made my blood pressure go up to 30 points. Okay, let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
And I say
signed off.
And I say that because, I believe that as time continues to progress, it's become mythical now.
Huh.
You got these online accounts who base their whole shit on 90s rap. They make lists on 90s rap. They grade everything on a 90s rap scale. And it's just like, it's become to a place where it's like, in real time, for the people who lived through it, there was whack shit in the 90s too. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all flawless. It wasn't all cloth. There was bullshit happening then too. But it's like the 90s.
Yeah, it was bullshit happening then too, but it wasn't brought to the forefront as the best representation or the most financed representation in terms of the machine. The machine wasn't financing that to be the sole representation. It was more harmony. It was more harmony between this style and this style that might be on polar opposites. You saw that golden era, always allude to this, but you saw there was a time period where you could see NWA and De La Soul and Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. You saw them on the same tour. That was a thing that was possible because there existed a harmony between both of those polar opposites. But yeah. So the premise I'm assuming is that the 90s made such great music and had such a great offering of artists that I guess the next generations could not keep up with it. So that's why they went to complete opposite. It was like, oh, forget all that skill shit. I'm trying to do some shit that ain't got no skill to it. What?
It's becoming such a talking point on social media to where it's just like, there's no one's ever gonna be able to reach that height. They're never gonna be as good as. And it's like, is it truth? Are niggas lying? And I just feel like, again, if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, that was grill. But in 2025 and beyond, I was starting to feel like 90s rap was the worst thing to happen because it's become a thing where people keep using.
Is it 90s rap fault or is it fans' obsession with nostalgia? Is it 90s rap and all the participants in it that brought their best foot forward? Is it their fault or is it the nostalgia that people are attached to when they say this thing is better? For some people, you could make a strong argument that the music that they were making was more musical. It had more storytelling. It was from a more authentic place. It wasn't about the commercial success of it. It was more so about the art. So you could make arguments in that direction. But really, when you see the type of artists, especially some of the ones that we have been covering, when you see the type of artists that exist in this era, the ones that tend to have been celebrated, specifically before last year, tend to be the ones that don't really value those things. Right? I still remember Slim Jesus getting in that DJ Vlad interview and saying, "Oh no, I don't do no drilling. That's stupid. I'm gonna get locked up for it. That's stupid." As he made the soundtrack to drilling under the moniker Slim Jesus, I remember hearing I forget the kid's name, but he was talking about on Genius. He was like, oh no, I just rap about that shit. I don't really be about that shit. That was a death sentence in the 90s because of how much authenticity was attached to the artists and their art. But I think a lot of that has to do with nostalgia, in that nothing will ever be better than your first. Nothing will ever be better than when Lil Tecca, that's what it was, Lil Tecca, thank you. I think a lot of that has to do with the nostalgia. And then also too, I do think there exists artists who stop trying to make better music because they said that's not the fight that I'm going after. I think they said that I am going after a different type of audience, a different type of goal. A lot of that happened to be monetary, I believe. A lot of that happened to be likability, I believe. I think a lot of that had to do with that, and that became an issue. And I think there's going to be people who came up in this last era who are going to be like, I can't stand all this damn rapping that people are doing now. I want to get back to the good days when people were having fun. Watch. Remember I said this. Give it like 3 or 4 years of this elevated level of music, elevated level of lyricism and authenticity, and people will be screaming about they want the fun back, especially as the economy starts to tank more. Watch. It's the same cycle. Exactly, Jamal. It's the same cycle. But I'll let them finish this off. This is an interesting take.
There's a crutch, lying, exaggerating, etc., etc. And it's like, you're not giving hip-hop a chance to grow, a chance to expand. And these artists who are living in real time a fair shake. For every person like us who loved the Kendrick and Drake battle, there's a bunch of niggas who's called the whole thing whack because it's not as good as some shit that happened in 94. And it's like, bro, 94 was 30 years ago.
Damn. For like Kevin Hart. Damn. Woo, 30 years ago. Oh my. I'll be down.
You know what I'm saying? Yo. We gotta grow with this shit. Like you keep trying to stunt the growth of hip hop because it's not the 90s. And I feel like that's unfair to the culture.
He's cooking now.
Nothing to do with the music. I love 90s rap. That's still my shit. But the reality is, unless the internet somehow cuts off, somebody pushes Al Gore's turn off button and it goes away forever, as long as the internet exists, the 90s is becoming an impossible, like what is that shit called when you got to jump over in the Olympics, that shit?
Pole vault.
Oh, yeah. It's like is it
the high jump?
The high jump, yeah. The pole vault, whatever. It's setting an impossible marker for you to high jump over.
I think it's a few different people to blame in this. If we're gonna really keep it a whole stack, I think it's a few people to blame for this. I think the easy answer is to say, well, you know, the industry did what it did. It prioritized what it did. You know, it is the fault of fans for not embracing the type of music that is going on. Yeah, thank y'all for correcting them. Hurdles. It's hurdles. It's hurdles. It's hurdles. It's hurdles. I do think it's partly that, but I think also too, you got to talk to your artists. There's a lot of artists who, although their life is dependent upon their creativity, they weren't creative enough when it came to how do I take the baton of lyricism and package it in a way where I'm still authentic, well, it's still entertaining because this is a business, where it's still finding ways to feed the people, while it's still finding ways to, you know, be the soundtrack of people's moments. I think that that's partly the artist too, giving up on making that a goal. Everybody shares a little bit of the blame into why it gets that way. But I think moving forward, specifically for hip hop fans, y'all got so much power. And I feel like so many fans misuse that power. The same power that you have to say what you don't like and it goes viral on social media is the same power with the right creativity that you have to make the good shit that you think is good shit go viral as well. It's just that people show up when you shit talk. People like conflict. But there's gotta be a different way to bring it to the forefront and do what I heard Evidence say, put the vitamin in the brownie. So moving forward, I think fans have to let go of the idea that this group is the new Outkast. The new Outkast won't look like Outkast, won't sound like Outkast, but they'll be fully inspired by Outkast. And you may not like the new packaging because it's not as similar to the one that you liked. And it's the same Pepsi, except that Pepsi's red, white, and blue. This Pepsi's in a black can. Not the Pepsi I grew up on, but it's still Pepsi. But you won't allow your inner bias, your inner nostalgia to even take this thing at face value and say, you're you, first of all. And this could be the evolution of what created before. I think if it doesn't sound exactly like it, if it doesn't look exactly like it, then some fans say the hell with it. That's part of the problem. For the artists that do make that music, Odd Future was the new Outkast. Nobody wants to have that conversation. They don't want to have that conversation. They'd rather it be, no, Earth Gang is the new Outkast. The new them don't have to look and sound exactly what that is. It doesn't have to be that. That's not what it's supposed to be, the evolution of it. That's why when you hear I've had artists on this couch over the last week that say my favorite artist is this dude or this dude. It's the complete opposite of what they do. Because there's probably more of that artist's style and influence in their DNA than the rappers that you think are similar artists. But we don't want to give that connection because that explodes our brain to even think that this group is not attached to this. Coast Contra, you just said right now. Coast Contra, the first thing people are going to say is Wu-Tang. And it's like, damn, what a disservice. Not because it's not a legendary group to be compared to, what a disservice to letting them be their own entity. Like nobody should have the responsibility of being the ODB in any group because there's only one ODB in that. Let Coast Contra just be them. And let's take this as detach our love and our nostalgia for 90s hip hop for a second and say different era, different set of rules. Still has some connections through the bloodline, but this is a new thing. Let's take it as a new thing. I think that's the healthiest way to move forward, in my opinion. This is my opinion. That's the healthiest way to move forward to it. But you're asking for a lot from some people who are like, they don't even want to give it that much thought. We're giving more thought to it than most folks are willing to. All right, here's another take that I like from here. I'm liking the Roundtable. The Rap Roundtable. I like some of these talking points. Basically, I don't know if the clip is going to show here, but basically he made the statement in one of his live streams that there's rappers who are refusing to drop new music. I didn't save it. Rappers who are refusing to drop new music because the state of hip hop after the Kendrick and Drake battle, after that is lame right now, and people are asking for something that they don't provide and they don't want to provide. This was Moni's take after hearing that, and I definitely want to piggyback off a lot of the points that are in here.
Ice Spice and fucking Jack Harlow were the top two people for hip hop in 2023. Jack Harlow had the first #1 of 2024 until Megan Thee Stallion put her pen to pad and said, "Nigga, let's rap." She was the last female rapper to go #1 and got the second #1 for hip hop. And my thing is, as the alleged face of hip hop, he isn't. So don't take that serious coming out of my mouth. For you academics to allow other rappers to say to you, hip hop is lame right now, when it's seen a drastic climb in 2024 after being in the pits of hell, that says a lot about you as a journalist.
You know what's so funny? That he uses the term hip hop. I really wonder if the artists that he was talking to identify themselves as hip hop. Because if I'm not mistaken, not even a year ago, cousin, that 2 years ago, niggas was rock stars. Push my damn button. Niggas was rock stars. They didn't want to be attached to hip hop. That was too That was too old headish. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they didn't want any connections to hip hop. So how can he kill something that they themselves never claimed for themselves? Might be a very minor point at this point, but I think that's something that we need to talk about. It's like, I thought. Anyways, continue cooking.
And it only further proves that just like the mumbling ass rappers, you don't care about the art form. You just care about the negativity and the bullshit that comes with it. 2024 single-handedly will go down as the year that saved hip-hop from going into a space of destruction, a space of unknown for the genre that was losing its value and its respect. Like, people literally forgot that hip-hop at one point was literally a walking fucking stimulus package. Hip-hop used to dominate the charts.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a feature from a rapper in the early 2000s, 2010s.
You know how many 8-bar raps was getting?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Some of y'all wasn't outside. Some of y'all wasn't listening to this because your favorite wasn't rapping yet. Do you realize that so many R&B singers will tell you, Mariah Carey will tell you, how important that rap feature was from ODB? You needed somebody. Thank you, Cordy, for the text on that one. I had to just reset it. You know how many R&B singers? Joe was another one. He didn't need it, but there was points in time where that was like, damn, let me get Jadakiss for 8 bars. Let me get 50 Cent. Let me get, whoever was relevant at that time, because they had the charts in a stranglehold. I remember there was a point in time where they were saying, what are we going to do about R&B? Hip hop is the only thing that these people seem to be consuming. So with that said, now we're at a place where people are forgetting how much of a stimulus package it was. It stopped becoming a stimulus package when they started to bring mediocre shit to the forefront. Hello. And I'm not saying every artist is mediocre. I'm saying the stuff that they tried to convince us everybody wanted, when in reality that was just what they wanted to put all the money behind, and they still couldn't create stars that sold music. Bada boom, bada bing. That's what happened. The same thing was happening with the movie industry, in that they were bringing in actors. Instead of bringing in actors, they were bringing in TikTok stars, Vine stars, who had never actually sat there and read a script and went through the proper channels of learning how to act outside of their skits. When you have when you have aspiring artists who never sat with their art form and tried to figure out all the different faces of it so that they can have longevity, and they only see this as a come up, that's where you get mediocre music, because they can only ride one pony. They're a one-trick pony. They can only do one thing. The problem is not them having that. Amazing. They had that. They made their money. I love it. They changed the money. It changed the lives of the people in there. They changed everybody's lives in their family. That's beautiful. But you wonder what happened with music, and you wonder why it became so mundane. Part of that has to do with people who are being elevated to the top and given the money and the machine behind them were mediocre at best. They were not even exceptional in the one thing they did. They were just the first one that sounded like they did it, in my opinion.
So if Kendrick Lamar killed hip hop and you mumbling ass niggas are scared to drop, I personally want to say thank you, Kendrick Lamar.
Hello.
Thank you, Doechii. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Future. Future dropped 3 tapes. Thank you, Tyler.
What? Future ain't got no problem. Future said, y'all better get y'all asses back out here. This is where you start to see the people who are being exposed as the people who are doing this for all the wrong reasons. When you love music, why are you looking over your shoulder? When you love to create, what does it matter where the game is going? Creators create. Writers write. Swimmers swim. Hoopers hoop. Gamers game. Rain, sleet, or snow, because that's what genuinely brings them joy in what they're doing. You start to see the people who came here who had no intent on staying here, no intent on getting better while they're here. That's the problem. And that's part of the party that I'm loving to see die off.
Thank you, Schoolboy Q. Say thank you, Glorilla. Thank you, Rhapsody. Thank you, Common and Pete Rock.
Hello.
Thank you, Vince Staples,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whoever dropped last year. Shout out to y'all for deciding to take rap back and reclaim it from these corny ass, no bars having, beat rodding ass losers. We are in.
Clock. cousin. You beat riding losers.
And I'm gonna tell it.
You beat riding loser. I love that. I'm gonna use a you beat riding loser. What are you doing? I hope y'all understand. Like, I'm pushing a whole lot of propaganda on this channel. Y'all said it. If you ain't got no bars, if you can't really sing, don't hit me up. If you only work on your craft every once in a while, don't hit me up. If you finally got one, don't hit me up. That I have no intent on platforming somebody that got a bunch of followers, a bunch of social currency. I don't care. I don't care. Where's your heart at? Where's your passion at? Do you love what you do? I would never bring anybody in here that I have not heard speak with passion about their craft. That's the propaganda I'm pushing. So there might be names that y'all are like, oh man, you gotta have them on. I don't know them like that. I don't know them like that. But I'm thankful to be surrounded by people who love this shit so much. Even if they didn't have the opportunity to cook up anymore, they'd find a way to still be creative in this art form. That's how it should be. That's what gatekeeping looks like. That's what real gatekeeping looks like. Not the kind where you stop people who deserve and have earned that opportunity. Real gatekeeping looks like, let's shut the gate before some of these folks come in here and try to hit more licks. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're at capacity. Only the folks who really love doing this are here. I think that's important. That is supremely important. Because then you know what it makes everybody else do? Either go pick another hobby or get better. That's it. I hope these artists that are afraid to drop are looking at ways to get better. Because God forbid, what could be the result of that? We get better music? God forbid.
The era of pushing talent and real lyrics. Let's make all these niggas uncomfortable.
All of them.
I love it. It makes my heart flutter that academics, you have to sit in that funky ass chair.
Damn. You ain't got enough of breeze? Academic.
And report to us that other rappers are crying to you because they're scared to drop because nobody wants to buy that bullshit.
I'm sorry, whatever place you in as a rapper, if that got you calling academics to vent, check your priorities. Check your goddamn priorities. Oh man, Kendrick really messed the game up. All these people want are real lyrics now. I don't got those. All they want is lyrics that are personal about me. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about an imaginary me. Let me call academics. Hello? What's going on? I want to talk to you about something. You got 5 minutes? Yeah, anything for you, man. Anything for you, man. Where's your life at that you consulting as an artist, as a professional in what you're doing? You're consulting with a nigga that we ain't seen DJ since college. Where are you at in life? I mean that. Where you at in life when you calling academics and you consulting with a nigga you ain't seen DJ since college? Where are you at in life? You got rappers that don't want to rap, they want to be rock stars. You got DJs that don't want to DJ, they want to podcast. You got streamers that don't want to stream, they want to be artists. If everybody could just find their position, find their role, and have fun. DJs who can't and don't spin, I'm saying.
I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. Bro, I talked to a few rappers. And obviously
I'm calling cap on that. Ain't no few rappers. Unless they was all in the same room, wasn't no isolated situation where 4 or 5 rappers called him and was like, game's real fucked up right now, the academics. What are we gonna do? Hey, the game's real fucked up right now, academics. What are we gonna do? The game's real fucked up right now, academics. What are we gonna do? Ain't no fucking scenario where 3 rappers called him and said that shit. He's probably overhearing 2 rappers talking.
See, they're not woke rappers. They're not
woke rappers.
Lyrical rappers.
This nigga is Fox News of hip hop. I promise you.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
What self-respecting black man would use woke as a weapon of choice as a word that is represented by a weapon. What black man would use the word woke as a weapon, as an insult? These are Fox News talking points in hip hop. While claiming that Kendrick Lamar killed hip hop. I'm sick, bro. I'm so sick.
A bunch of them feel like Kendrick killed hip hop, bro.
I love it. Let's kill it every single time. Yes, I love it.
That part.
You either
If that shit is hip hop, kill that shit off.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Kill that shit off. Go on. Take it to the side of the barn. Let it go.
get in the booth and rap like the rent is due, or get the fuck out the way.
That part.
The party was crashed. We knocked over the table. Y'all niggas is not getting no punch.
Damn.
Get off the fucking aux cord.
Damn.
Fuck your hip hop.
Mm.
We got real hip hop at the front of the table right now.
Uh-huh.
We are not allowing good beats to carry you clowns anymore.
You better cook, cousin. You better
I'm
cook.
gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Shout out to my guy, Stevie Crooks. He said, you niggas done got hypnotized by the beats. The beats have hypnotized you. Meanwhile, what y'all was trying to call mumble rap, I call it hiding rap. I call it hiding rap. It wasn't mumble rap. They was hiding. No shit. I ain't talking about shit, so I hope you don't notice. I hope you too high to even know what I'm saying. I hope you sip this lean, sip this lean, sip this lean. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying. This shit's fucking amazing, bro. All I know is I don't know what he's saying, but this shit's fucking amazing, bro. They got you high. They got you higher than a giraffe fart. They got you higher than Martian halitosis. They got you higher than a giraffe titty. They got you so high, by the time they were done, you thought it was the greatest shit ever, and you couldn't remember one thing from it. So it was them niggas was high. They was hiding while you was high. Wasn't no mumble rap. They was hiding. They ain't saying shit, so they had to hide. I never thought I'd see a day when just pure clarity and self-expression and hard work would be seen as being too woke. And they would use the word woke as a weapon in hip-hop. What are we doing? What is going on?
We don't care about your drip and your swag.
Damn.
We don't care about what IG model you fucking. We don't care about you disrespecting women. We don't care about you promoting violence that turns into RICO charges later on down the line.
Well.
We don't give a fuck. Put that pen to the pad and rap, nigga, and keep it.
Cousin Cookie. Are y'all afraid to rap? Y'all niggas really afraid to rap? I listen to your songs and you shoot everybody that ever existed as a character in your movie. You always come out of your movies alive like Ice Cube. Y'all always come out Anaconda. Even boys in the hood. You didn't see him get killed. John Singleton just had his image fade out. Y'all kill everybody in a damn story. Don't nobody be alive except for you at the end, Rambo. But when it come to this, you afraid to rap? You afraid to rap? That's what it's in your job description. Imagine, no offense to anybody who work at McDonald's. No offense. You got to make your money. The person that makes burgers, the burger chef, imagine him being afraid of grease.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
The one that's cooking the fries, imagine him being afraid of grease. That's what we're witnessing. Niggas is afraid of grease. Niggas is afraid of hot grease. Why did you choose McDonald's as a profession if you scared of hot grease? Head ass.
Mind, not all of y'all need to be lyricists. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Because we need a little ratchet. We need a little righteousness.
Facts.
We need that.
Also, we need our lyricists to also be a little ratchet too.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I think that's why things trended the way that they did. There was a time where you heard certain records on 106 in Park, you heard certain records on Rap City that were overly preachy. Or you had artists that only wanted to show that they were a conscious artist, whatever the hell that phrase means. And because they only showed one side of what they did, they weren't taken seriously whenever they showed the whole picture. I want my artists to be 70%, 80%, and aware of themselves, aware of themselves, 100% authentic, 70% aware of themselves, 70% aware of the world, educated and wanting to share that. But I want like at least 10% ratchet. I want to hear you rap on some beats where you just say, what happens when you have a bad day? What do you say when you've met a bad relationship? What happens when you're not the superhero? What happens when you get your heart broken? What happens when your friends do you dirty and you kind of did each other dirty in a situation and you kind of partly to blame for not seeing the signs? Like, what happens there? A well-rounded artist like Jid. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like Rayvon. Like the artists right now that have our attention. Conscious crash out music.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
There's nothing wrong with being wholesome. That term has been bastardized. When I hear wholesome, I hear that you're an entire person. I know one of the definition is, oh, he's so wholesome and so goody two shoes. No. I want to hear about the whole human being. And the times that you're not always on the up and up. The times where you got some ignorant shit to say. That's the kind of artist I want, because that feels more human than ever. That feels human. What happens when you want to nuck if you bug?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It's a real question. What happens when you want to nuck if you buck? What happens when you want to find out what happened from the window to the wall and where the sweat may fall? You know what I mean? We not all, you know what I'm saying? We as human beings are so complex. And that's the one thing I do love about all the new podcasts is we're showing the complexities of who we are. But like, what happened? You feel me? Like, what are we doing? It's okay to be whole. A whole human being. Ack is Tucker Carlson of hip hop. He's got Academics TV page to push narratives using his guy as his scapegoat. Interesting. That's a good one. Go ahead, end this out, cousin.
But y'all are not the leaders. Y'all are not at the front of the line anymore. Get the fuck to the back and be quiet.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It's feeling like the hip hop I fell in love with again. Everything from the media that I see from the emerging voices, the hip hop voices here on YouTube, everything that I'm seeing from everybody I was exposed to during the battle, everything that I'm seeing from the music, it feels like it's not a new golden age. It's its own golden age. And it feels like it's things are correcting themselves. Things seem to be correcting themselves one by one. And when you start to see conversations like my own, like Moni, like the Company Man, like Rob, like, Professor Scott, when you see all these voices get elevated the way that they have been, it lets you know shifts are happening. And the algorithm is just listening to what is being demanded by the people, because the algorithm is here to make sure that the companies they work for make money. Well, it seems to be that there's money in this new age. And people that are at a point now where after 15 years of all the different things that were here for hypnosis, and he wants some more. What's wrong with asking for some more if you have it to give and you know it exists? One more take from the Rap Roundtable. After the battle, Kendrick Lamar had made it difficult for brain dead rappers' music to get an emotion. What do you mean?
Kendrick has changed the landscape though. People want a more demure form of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
No, I'm serious. Yo, that's what niggas
call Kenny demure.
I'm just. They want a more
bars?
substanced type of hip hop, right?
See, something happens when you've been living on Dollar Tree steaks for the last 10 years, and then you have a real steak, and you like, the hell was I eating? What the hell was I eating? Y'all don't know if demure was the right word for that. What was I eating? You done had them tough ass, rough ass, it's the thuggish rockets steak, and you was eating that rough ass steak, and you was like, man, that shit's the best shit I ever had in the world. Then somebody showed you a real steak, and you was like, why did the knife go through it so easy? Why did the knife go through it so easy? What is this? It's like me 2 months ago when I had like the brisket that I know I'm getting hungry. They got the brisket that they cook overnight, and they sit it. I put my fork in it, and the fork said, my fork moaned. My fork moaned because that was the realest brisket I ever had in my life. So the fans are saying the same thing. I've had a real brisket. Get this shit off my table. I put that fork in, it said, Continue.
Now, yeah, man.
PG Lang gonna be in your comments.
I'm just saying.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's a beautiful thing.
What the fuck are you talking
but I'm saying,
about?
like, if you were raised on the Ratchet, bro, like the Kendrick shit might be a little tough for you to process if you're not built to understand that type of shit.
Well, good thing they got rock music. Well, good thing they got rock stars like Lil Uzi Vert. Y'all be fine. Y'all be fine. Y'all be good. Y'all'll be good. They ain't going nowhere. They rock stars. They not rappers. Damn it, that's it. Ooh, shit. The way that has manifested itself. Y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. Y'all don't like rap anyways. Y'all like rock stars. Keep going on them rock shows. Keep going on to them rock shows. Don't worry about this. Rock stars with no bands. Make it fucking make sense. Rock stars with no bands. Nobody ever asked that question. Why do rock stars don't got no bands? I got bands, Curtis. Stupid. It's my money phone. Don't worry about it. You never like rap music, so what you want rap music for? Bring out rock stars.
Like, it's like listening to homework if you're not built for that type of shit. And
So
I think
you saying they stupid.
Or they just not built that. They not like that.
No, they stupid. They are stupid. They are genuinely stupid. No apologies. They're stupid.
Yes. I don't know if they stupid or not. I don't know these niggas.
They stupid. They dumb as hell. And loud.
Like what?
I mean, you gotta be a smart nigga to listen to Kendrick.
So they stupid.
No, you don't. You don't have to be a smart nigga to listen to Kendrick. You just have to be a conscious, unaware, someone who's doing some self-work. You just gotta be somebody that is open to aesthetics. You know why Kendrick's music can be broken down by professors and it can be multiple lessons is because even they catch something different every time they listen to it. But you know what it doesn't fail to do? Give something for people who don't dig. Whether it's the production, the catchy hooks, whether it's the first layer of content, whatever it is, he finds a way to satisfy all levels of understanding. That's money trades, it's a event, and that's just how I feel. Yeah. Wait a minute and make your mind itch. This is how I feel. Yeah. That's taking care of every single level of understanding of a listener. They're just not used to I think this generation just hasn't been quite used to artists being, at least the majority of them being as diverse as that. But no, you don't gotta be a smart nigga to listen to Kendrick. I think that's a narrative. That sounds like a major label narrative. I don't like that narrative at all.
Yo, this nigga trying to dog walk me right now. But like, I don't know.
You did not.
I don't know, man. I read the reading statistics, and it's brutal out here. But
yeah, them reading statistics is crazy. Shout out to Afro Butterfly. I don't know if she in the building today, but yeah, them reading statistics. I had to tell somebody the other day. I said most that you engage with, not in this community, most that you engage with online are emotionally between the ages of 8 to 12 years old. 54% of U.S. adults read below a 6th grade level. And then I said, I'm not going back and forth with you if you need your finger to follow along to the words in Green Eggs and Ham.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And that's just how I feel. Yeah. Erica, I believe that. You said you've been 45 since you were 4. Something tells me that you're an old soul. Something tell me you're an old soul. Your takes, I can tell you're an old soul. Yeah, well, Tay says they equate intelligence to Kendrick because they lack common sense. Yeah, I hear you. I think they just don't want to use it. They have it. They just don't want to use it. And I think that's when people start to get in a conspiracy bag and say that certain artists were brought to the forefront to dumb down the population. That's where you kind of have to give that theory or that conspiracy a little bit more thought. It's not a far-fetched thought. If that's all that you've been impressed with, if that's all that you've been given, if nothing that you listen to makes you want to do something after listening to it, ask yourself why you're listening to it. Well, I heard somebody explain it. Who said this? Was it Professor Sky? I think he made an argument for because part of the reason why we're living in the vibe era, everything is a vibe, is partly because of all the distractions that we have around us. The necessity for things like ASMR to relieve stress and overstimulation. Part of the reason that exists is because of all the distractions we have around us, be it technology, be it subscriptions to Netflix and all these different outlets, be it the multiple screens that we put in front of our face, from the phone to the VR headsets to the tablets to the iPods. We're surrounded by so many distractions. You wonder why anxiety is at an all-time high? Because people are spending more time in front of their phones than outside. So, in order for them to have a more peaceful existence around these devices, because that'd be stupid trying to get them to get. You want me to put my device down? You're stupid, Curtis. Okay, so what is your solution? Give me music that doesn't make me think.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Really? Yeah. Give me music that doesn't make me think so that I can enjoy my devices in peace. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Give me music that doesn't make me think because I'm already overthinking with all these devices in my face. Give me a vibe. Give me a little it tickles the brain without having to even use it. Fuck. It tickles the brain without even having to use it. And on the flip side, as Leslie just so brilliantly put, the artists receive likes and they're given a boost of dopamine. It's a great exchange. Help my over-distracted brain not think. Soothe it by giving me bullshit. But also help me and my overactive brain as an artist and just stream my shit. We're done. How I'm going to get money? I don't know. But I know I'm going to use my screen time today. I know I'm using my screen time, but I don't know how I'm going to make money as an artist. We're talking to, it's zombies making music for zombies. It's zombies making music for zombies. And that is not an attack on anybody's style of music. I would just really ask the question, how many times have you fed your audience? How many empty exchanges have you had with your audience where nobody leaves feeling filled up anymore? I'll tell you this. If I went to Walgreens to go get something for my migraine, right? I got a migraine. I need something. If I went there to go get something to help me in the same way that listeners go to music to help them, and all I got was something that can make me vibe while I have the headache and it never goes away or distract me from the headache, I would stop buying that medication immediately. But there's a lot of people who are okay with that exchange because the illusion of the headache not being there and not throbbing has been enough to pacify them until something happened. An event happened like Kendrick versus Drake, which is why we're still talking about it. It happens and it makes people stop look. It meets them at their device, but it makes them engage with the song drop in a very different way. Kendrick didn't give you music videos. He gave you audio on Instagram pages to enjoy some of these songs. It wasn't streaming. It wasn't music video. It wasn't a bunch of things to get you distracted. He gave you a pure audio presentation from song 1 to the last one. And then you got a video after the last one. It was like analog versus digital. Drake is all digital. He's all about the digital props. He's all about the music video with the van and trying to win points online. Analog still is more reliable. Analog is in touch with foundational points, with a predictability and a reliability that sometimes digital fails us. What happens when your phone dies and you set an alarm? Does it still go off? No. What happens when you plug one of them ugly ass analog alarm clocks? That shit says like you're getting killed in a Psycho movie. Analog experience for a hypnotized audience. I think it's genius. I don't know if that's what they planned, but damn it, that's what they did. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.